Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Cami and I'm all about helping you take control of your life and live it on your terms, regardless of your financial situation. So if you've been following along with this series, then you know that this is the third video in this 4-part series on the 4 common mental blocks that could be holding you back from living your dream life. So far, we've covered the fear of change and the fear of failing. Today, we're going to dive into another big one, which is money. If you haven't seen the first 2 videos yet, I would highly recommend going back to check them out. You can find the links in the description and in the comments. I mean, you don't have to, but I think they will be really helpful in your journey to your dream life, especially if you're interested in learning how to overcome those things. Okay, but today we're talking about money, specifically how your mindset around money might be what's keeping you from living the life that you want. So let's get into it. So many people get stuck thinking that they need a large amount of money to live a fulfilling life, like retiring early or quitting their job or starting a business or spending their time doing what they love. And many times people just assume they need a lot of money because they don't actually know how much money they need. If you've ever followed the FIRE movement or the financial independent retire early movement, people in that movement always talked about money. And they even came up with these calculators to help you figure out how much you'd need in order to retire from investments. But it was always like $1 million, at least for me. Like the figures came up to I needed to have $1 million or something close to that. And I'd still need to work a minimum of 20 years or more to get anywhere close to that number. And that's if I can increase my wages the entire time. But here's the thing. I discovered that that actually wasn't true. When I actually looked into how much it would cost me to live life on my terms, which for me was not having to opt back into the workforce unless I wanted to, it was significantly less. My finances are currently nowhere near $1 million. And yet, I spend the majority of my time relaxing, tapping into my creativity, playing games, spending time with my loved ones. So if I'm saying you don't need a lot of money to live life on your terms, what am I saying that you need then? I'm saying that you need to figure out how much it'll cost you and where it'll cost you the least. For example, let's say that, like me, your dream life is also to stop working or you want to work significantly less. Okay, you might know how much it'll cost you to live where you're living currently. But what if you went somewhere else? How much would it cost there? I know that a move like that isn't always easy, but there are probably places like provinces, states, cities, towns, countries that have a lower cost of living, sometimes even significantly lower cost of living than where you're currently at. Now, let's say that, you're trying to figure out the cost of living for a particular place. Like you're considering maybe you could do that. How exactly would you look into that? So I'd suggest joining Facebook groups and even Reddit threads. I find that those are the best for this type of information, especially searching for Facebook groups like expats in country or expats in city. Even if you don't ask a question yourself, they usually have a lot of information that you can just browse through. But I mean, you can also ask questions about the costs for different things and the costs for your particular situation. And I do want to take a second to mention that if you're thinking about this and you feel like you're struggling with, where to begin or maybe what the first step is to get clear on your next move toward your dream life, I'd like to invite you to a clarity call with me. So this is a 30-minute session that we do together Together, we're going to work through your doubts. We're going to help you clarify what you want. And then you're going to get some actionable steps to get started so that you can move toward your dream life with confidence. So if that's something that you'd like to work together on, I've left a link for that in the description and also in the comments as well. But going back to this money mindset and it holding you back from your dream life, something else that I think that you need here, and I think that it's really important, is thinking that your dream life is possible for you. More specifically, thinking things like, how can this happen for me? Instead of, how are all the ways this can go wrong and what are the ways this won't happen for me? And I'll explain why. So I've talked a lot about the brain and positive thinking in previous videos, but your brain will find solutions and proofs for whatever you focus on. They even teach this in corporate. So for example, if you're in a meeting, it's much more fruitful to think, how are ways we can achieve this goal? Instead of, what are all the ways this can go wrong? When you frame the question as the former, your brain thinks, oh, you're looking to achieve this goal. Sure, there are ways it can go wrong, but you're specifically looking for ways it can go right. So I'll put that aside. Here are all the ways it can go right. Just the same, when you are thinking about your dream life, you want to think in that way. You want to think, okay, I want a specific thing for my life, or I want a specific life or lifestyle. How can I do that? And then you wait for your brain to give you an answer. You don't need to force it or shake your brain for it. It'll come. But it might be something as simple as, let me watch some YouTube videos about people doing that thing. Or, it might be something else. In my case, it was something like, it seems I'll never be able to own a home in this province, but it seems you really want to own a home and you don't want a mortgage. Is the rest of Canada this expensive? Let's go on realtor.ca and search up house listings in Canada and see where in Canada the house prices are better. And that's how I ended up finding out that if I just move provinces, I could make that dream of owning a home with no mortgage come to life. Oh, and when you think about this, ensure to write down all of your ideas. Even if it's just you sending a WhatsApp message to yourself or writing it in the Notes app on your phone, just take note of the ideas so that you don't forget them. In fact, speaking of writing things down, let's just practice this right now. So, I want you to think about what your dream life is. Okay, now I want you to ask yourself, what are some ways that my dream life could happen for me? Literally think to yourself, like, I want this thing. How can this happen for me? And then when you have an idea, I want you to write it down in the comments. And you know what? If you're doing this and you're still really unsure, I'd love for you to leave a comment anyway. Let me know what your dream life is and that you're unsure of how something like that can happen for you. And I'd love to help you explore ideas that could work for you. So thinking in this way can help unblock your brain and help you get closer to the life that you want. Because asking your brain these types of questions helps it to focus more on the how instead of the how not. And our brains are powerhouses. Like, we think AI is smart and it's fairly decent, but our brains came up with AI. And our brains are so vast that we still don't understand everything about them. We're still understanding ways to tap into it. So to summarize, our mindset about money could be what's holding us back from getting our dream life. And we can overcome that by seriously going over the money. Like, instead of assuming how much we need, seriously going over how much it'll actually cost us and where it'll cost us the least. Because understanding how much money we're going to need or not need will help us feel a lot more confident in living a life on our terms. Also, thinking about how we can reach our dream life will help our brains focus on the solution. It'll help our brains focus on all of the ways it can be possible for us, which can lead us to taking action and getting our dream life. So I hope that this was helpful because, as I mentioned previously in other videos, my entire goal with this channel is to help you, is to empower you to live a life on your terms. And if you do find that you are struggling when it comes to living your dream life, you're still trying to figure out exactly what you want or how to get started, as I mentioned, I'm here to help. So I would love to work with you in a clarity call, get you some clarity, hone in on, the life that you really want so that you can start to figure out those numbers that you're going to need, and then give you some actionable steps to get you on your way. But other than that, that is it. Let me know if you felt encouraged or empowered, or at least if you felt more positive after this. And if you've subscribed, whether or not, from this video or in the past, also leave a comment below and let me know, because I can't actually see who most of my subscribers are. So I'd love to personally welcome you to the channel. Welcome. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.